And then there is something happening that I wanted to show you, chat. A bunch of Oathkeeper leaders are on trial for sedition.
These 5 people are the first Americans to go on trial for seditious conspiracy in connection with the January 6th attack on the Capitol. It is the most serious charge anyone has faced from that day, and very rare.
It is unprecedented in the sense that we've never had a violent disruption of the transfer of power from one president to another. That makes this absolutely unique event in American history.
This is just some of the hundreds of hours of video prosecutors can
except
use
for the whole, like, a bunch of states seceded from the Union when Lincoln was elected. You mean other than that? And then, like, attacked multiple federal installations around the South. You mean except for that? I may have had a little fart there for a second, but largely we've avoided losing frames.
As evidence. It shows 3 of the 5 on trial, who prosecutors say are Oath Keepers, the alleged members of the far right-wing militia wearing combat gear, walking in a military stack formation and breaching the Capitol.
We're in the Capitol, bro!
That is 40-year-old Jessica Watkins of Ohio, an Army veteran, celebrating. Right there with her, 47-year-old Army veteran Kenneth Harrelson of Florida, shown here inside the Capitol, and 53-year-old Florida man Kelly Meggs, the only member of the 5 who is not a military veteran. 2 of the charged never made it inside the Capitol, but prosecutors say they too planned and plotted to violently stop the peaceful transfer of power.
Every single in there is a traitor. Every single one.
That is Thomas Caldwell talking about the members of Congress inside. He's a Navy veteran who once worked for the FBI. Federal prosecutors say just days before the Capitol attack, Caldwell messaged the group about a plan to have weapons ready and waiting in nearby Virginia. We could have our quick response team with the heavy weapons standing by, quickly load them, and then ferry them across the river to our waiting arms, he said. But the highest profile person in that group is Army veteran Stuart Rhodes of Texas, the founder of the Oath Keepers.
Every time I see Stuart Rhodes, chat, it's fucking funny. Why does he have an eye patch, chat? Why does he have an eye patch? Do you know why? No, it wasn't the brave Mujahideen. It's because he shot himself in the eye by accident while teaching a safety course.
The other 4 on trial, prosecutors say, were his top lieutenants.
They are conspiratorial. They believe in a tyrannical government that is out to get people at every turn. It is really a perfect example of what the anti-government militia movement represents in modern times in the U.S.
Rhodes, a Yale Law School graduate and later disbarred attorney, can be seen outside the Capitol. Prosecutors say he had long planned for confrontation. According to court documents, Rhodes sent this message to his members in December, saying if Joe Biden takes the presidency, it will be a bloody and desperate fight. We are going to have to fight. That can't be avoided. UC Davis constitutional law expert Carlton Larson says it makes no difference in this case whether Rhodes breached the Capitol or orchestrated it from outside.
Indeed, him not going into the Capitol sort of suggests he's willing to send other people in to do his dirty business. Right? I mean, Osama bin Laden didn't fly into the World Trade Center. He sent minions to do it, but he's equally culpable for what happened on September 11th.
We want growth.
The defense is expected to argue they came to Washington as peacekeepers and believed President Donald Trump would invoke the Insurrection Act. The act is from the 1800s and gives presidents emergency powers to deploy the military to quell unrest. What do you make of that defense?
Well, it's really grasping at straws. The Insurrection Act was not invoked, and so everything they did was done without any cover of the Insurrection Act.
So prosecutors are going to be bringing up tons of evidence that they have. We're talking tens of thousands of text messages between this group, including hundreds of hours of video. The statements from the defendants as well will play into this. But first, they're going to start their opening statements this morning here in D.C. We also understand that the jury is made up of 12 people and 4 alternates, and this case could take up to 6 weeks.
I have to ask you about...
And like...
We're back now with the latest on the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Opening arguments will begin today in the trial.
It took this fucking long to get them in trial. Jesus.
Stuart Rhodes, the leader of the Oathkeepers, along with 4 other members of the right-wing militia group.
Yeah, they're facing charges of seditious conspiracy for their involvement in the attack on the Capitol, which carries a maximum sentence of 20 years behind bars if convicted. NBC News Justice reporter Ryan Riley is here to break down the trial for us, along with NBC News legal analyst Danny Sabalas.
What's the deal with
Good
Trump and
morning
the
to you both.
FBI? Did the investigation stop? No, there's been a bunch of appellate decisions, and Trump lost. So it's still ongoing. Are they actually going to prosecute Trump? No, they're too chicken shit.
Always great to have you with us. Ryan, I'll start with you just for some context here on this trial and tell us what should we expect to hear from prosecution today?
Yeah, so this is definitely DOJ's biggest challenge thus far, certainly the most serious charges they've brought against the largest number of defendants that's gone to trial. You know, you sit through a lot of these cases and sometimes you wonder why they actually went to trial, because the facts are just so stacked against a lot of these previous defendants. And, you know, in jury trials, DOJ has a flawless record, batting 1,000 for all of these cases. So you sometimes wonder why, you know, they necessarily went to trial given the overwhelming evidence against them and the clear evidence of crimes. In this trial, I do think there's actually a little bit of mystery here. I don't think that there's as much solid evidence in terms of what DOJ has put forward publicly thus far that shows there was a pre-coordinated attack, plan to attack the Capitol. Rather, it seems like there was basically this plan, which is what the Oathkeepers are going to argue, is that they're essentially a militia on standby. Now, that's sort of a novel argument, of course. Essentially, you're arguing that you were preparing for, you did a lot of preparations for the bank robbery, but you didn't necessarily go through with it, even though you're standing right outside the bank. But that's what essentially they're going to be arguing here and saying that, listen, they had this bizarre legal theory based on the idea that Trump could invoke the Insurrection Act, and they didn't actually.
Oh, yeah, the Cop City thing. Yeah, I heard about that.
Move forward with this,
really
and
nice.
Stuart Rhodes is going to be arguing that those
out.
2 stacks that did enter the Capitol building did not do so at his direction.
Well, Danny, what will you be watching for from the Oathkeepers attorneys, and what do you think they'll be trying to show the jury?
Exactly that. I mean, the elements of any defense here are that conspiracy is an incomplete crime. In other words, Rhodes would argue, and the other defendants, that we didn't agree. And the objective you said was part of our unlawful agreement. That wasn't our objective. Our objective instead was a lawful one. And any time you charge someone for being a kind of ringleader who didn't actually commit the crime, the government knows that even with those favorable federal statutes that criminalize an expansive list of conduct, they have to prove the agreement and the specific unlawful objective. And that's what Rhodes's defense is going to capitalize on.
Ryan, what kind of role do you think the former president is going to play in this trial? Do you expect the prosecution or defense to incorporate former President Trump's actions surrounding the attack on the Capitol into their arguments in any way?
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a major part of this, because they're going to argue essentially that the Oathkeepers are going to argue essentially that they were waiting on word from Donald Trump to take any action. And that's why they kept all of these weapons in Virginia, because they were trying to obey the law and would only bring those weapons into D.C., which has strict gun laws, if told to do so or by the President of the United States. One moment I'm really looking for here, there's a cooperating individual in this case, one of 3 Oathkeepers who was pleaded guilty to seditious conspiracy, who has already told the court that he was in the room with Stuart Rhodes on the night of January 6th, as Stuart Rhodes was talking to this Trump intermediary, an unidentified person who we haven't learned who is exactly yet. But they essentially were telling this person that Trump needed to call them upon them and step up, and they could step in and sort of help him retain power. He repeatedly implored this individual to directly connect him, Rhodes, with Donald Trump, but he never actually got through, and apparently that person denied that request. So that's, I think, some dramatic testimony we'll be expecting as this trial folds out here under the next 5 weeks.
Another mystery there. And
Sneako's YouTube got yeeted. Sneak L. I guess I'll be enjoying some lasagna tonight.
Hey, this is not going to be a normal video. Today I want to briefly talk about the content creator Sneako and ask YouTube to ban him from the platform. I'm going to keep this video really short because I just want to say my piece and give Sneako and his fans as little ammunition to fire back as possible, because we know that every time someone utters his name on
So Chad, if you don't know who this is, he's basically this far right guy who tries to push, it's the next generation of red pill, misogyny, same old shit, different dipshit, Gamergate crap. Except he is truly the most farcical of all of them that's done it so far.
YouTube. He feels the need to make 5 videos crying about women and society or whatever. And before we begin, I do want to say that most of the time I don't believe that deplatforming someone is the proper way to deal with a controversy. A lot of times creators that I disagree with on a personal level are mostly harmless, and I don't believe that disagreeing with someone's personal values are ground for removal from YouTube or Twitch or any other social media platform. In general, policing content can be dangerous, but as you're about to see, Sneako has grossly violated YouTube's terms of service and qualifies for removal from the website. Now, I'm not going to go into too much depth here, but if you don't already know who Sneako is, he is a gaming and commentary content creator who continues to spread extremely harmful messages to a rapidly growing audience, usually violently ranting about women, politics, or men wearing makeup. He's sort of like the new Andrew Tate now that he's not on the platform anymore. He was recently banned off Twitter and now has 2 channel strikes on YouTube, but I'm not exactly sure what the reason for that is. Now, a little over a month ago, Sneako went on his live stream to talk about one of my friends, Chad, who gave me permission to make this video, but had no part in the creation of it, and it wasn't her idea or suggestion for me to make this. He reacted to a video she made about a TikTok dating coach, and I'm just going to play the video here so nothing can be left out of context, but I am going to issue a huge content warning for sexual assault, so if that's something that you're uncomfortable with in any way, I would leave the video now.
You know what's so funny about the internet? It hides the fact, and like this feminist garbage hides the fact that she's attracted to that guy making the videos. It is what it is. Girls, you could vouch for it. You know it's true. She would. She would. And you know, this is true. What's so predictable? You could tell by the way she's talking that she hasn't been properly in a long time. It's been a while. So she's on the internet making this garbage video, promoting all this feminist garbage to your fucking lonely girls in the comment section. What you really need, Chad, is some yeah, shut up with your feminism. Yeah, come here. That's what you need. And she's gonna go, that's what you need. You need some sense back into you. And you know what they're gonna do right after I did that? They're gonna clip that part and say, I'm an incel problematic, but you know it's true. You can hear it in her voice. She hasn't been properly in too long. And now you make no sense. That's what happens, man. That's what happens, yo. Someone vouch for me. You know it's true.
Now, I don't think I have to explain why this is disgusting. Sneako is harassing a female content creator, telling her that the reason why she's so upset is because she hasn't had sex in a while, and then he proceeds to aggressively simulate a sexual assault on Chad in his live stream in front of thousands of people. And like I said, there are creators who I disagree with, and then there are people like Sneako who actively threaten other creators on YouTube, spread hate speech, and overall make YouTube a less enjoyable and more dangerous place for everybody who's on it. Not to mention that this clip alone obviously violates YouTube's community guidelines around harassment. YouTube has banned creators even recently for much less, and I think that this is an obvious instance of a creator who is now causing more harm by existing on this site. And this isn't even about free speech. This is about taking action when a content creator spreads messaging like this, and I think YouTube would agree that someone like this definitely does not belong on their platform. If you watch this video and you also believe that Sneako should be banned from YouTube, you can go to his channel pages, click about, and then click the flag icon on the right side of the page and report the user. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.
Bye now. Bye. Can you imagine having a million like a channel with millions of subscribers? I think he had 1 million, right? The YouTube account associated with this video has been terminated. Sneako started out uploading videos of gameplay and giving commentary of video games before switching to a style best described as his commentary and motivational, with many tips relating to his life. He is famous for his video, Would You Say the N-Word for $1? Where he went around doing a street interview to random strangers and asked them if they would say the N-word if you paid them $1. You conduct similar videos like this with Is it okay to be fat? And why women and men aren't equal. He used to work for Mr. Beast. And like everybody else in the YouTube fucking elite, nepotism. Far-right politics and nepotism. He's affiliated with the streetwear brand Quality Clothing, which is run by his brother. Oh no, he's been terminated. He took a darker turn after Mr. Beast fired him. Oh no, he lost his YouTube. Oh no, poor guy. Poor guy. You know, chat. Ooh, man. I hate to see it, dude. Hate to see it. Oh no.
Danny, let's talk about the January 6th committee. Should they be paying attention to what happens in this trial? And what kind of effect could this have on the next public hearing?
Of course, they'll be paying attention. And in a sense, each of these, the prosecution and then the committee hearings, they kind of build
Work with Mr. Beast is a stretch. He worked on one video as a cameraman. Is that it?
Build on each other
one?
as each listens intently for new evidence and new avenues in which to seek out evidence. But make no mistake about it, January 6th committee is splashy. They're interesting, compelling drama, but they have a tiny fraction of the investigative ability that the DOJ has in conducting their criminal investigations, including grand jury subpoenas, search warrants, all kinds of things. The January 6th committee kind of has, but on no level even close to the DOJ. The DOJ is the real show here in prosecuting January 6th conduct. The committee is certainly interesting. It's important for American history, but in terms of devastating effectiveness, no one tops the U.S. DOJ.
Great distinction there. Danny Sidelos and Ryan Riley, as always, thank you for joining us. Thanks for your reporting.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading.
What actually happens to these people? Do they just continue making money on some other platform, or do they all go bust tables at IHOP? I mean, if you get deplatformed, unless for most people get deplatformed, it's just the end of their career. I mean, you know, because when you get deplatformed on one platform, it becomes very much more likely you're going to be deplatformed on another. So it's sort of like it's a domino effect. You know what I mean? And rarely do people like straighten up and fly right. All right, well, let's just hop right in it, folks. And I wanted to post something because hell yeah, dude. I wanted to show you this story because kind of proves a point that we've been trying to make about the Green New Deal and investments in energy. And that is a distributed power generation is also much more robust. So most Floridians lost power, or I should say 2 million Floridians lost power from Hurricane Ian. 2 million. Hey, Ambiggy Bot, thanks for the raid, buddy. And it turns out that the people that kept power were those that were 100% solar community. This 100% solar community endured Hurricane Ian with no loss of power and minimal damage. Anthony Grande moved away from Fort Myers 3 years ago in large part because of the hurricane risk. He has lived in Southwest Florida for nearly 19 years, had experienced Hurricane Charlie in 2004 and Irma in 2017, and saw what stronger storms could do to the coast. He told CNN he wanted to find a new home where developers prioritize climate resiliency in a state that is increasingly vulnerable to record-breaking storm surge, catastrophic wind, and historic rainfall. Don't forget just run-of-the-mill sea level rise, Miami. Babcock Ranch calls itself America's first solar-powered town. Its nearby solar array, made up of 700,000 panels, generates more electricity than the 2,000-home neighborhood uses. In a state where most electricity is generated by burning natural gas. Florida burns natural gas? That's so dumb. Oh my God. Have I covered Brazil? Nah, that'll be later. The streets of this meticulously planned neighborhood were designed to flood so houses don't. Native landscaping along roads helps control stormwater. Power and internet lines are buried to avoid wind damage. That's all in addition to being built into Florida's robust building codes. Some residents, like Grande, installed more solar panels on their roofs and added battery systems as an extra layer of protection for power outages. Many drive electric vehicles. So this is like Lib Mecca right now, all right? It's Lib Mecca. Are you wealthy enough, chat, to support your stream, your life? Come to Lib Mecca. Let us know before an ad break, and chat can try to snipe new followers with gift subs. Good point. Good point. Zopher, thanks for the 17 months. And Zephyr Calling, thanks for the tier 3. So when Hurricane Ian came barreling down towards Southwest Florida this week, it was a true test for the community. The storm obliterated the nearby Fort Myers and Naples areas with record-breaking storm surge and winds over 100 miles an hour. Chat, how many people are dead? How many people are dead? Because from what I saw, there was a rumor that there were hundreds of bodies. There was rumor that there was hundreds of bodies down in Fort Myers. Like it's really bad. Like it was beyond bad. Have we actually had a fight? I know that there was an initial report of 50 dead. Locals who live there are saying hundreds. The local said my sheriff neighbors saw hundreds of bodies. Yeah. The official count is 70. This is from 3 hours ago. Hurricane Ian death count tops 70 in Florida. Drowning is the leading cause of death. Oh, fuck, man. Reuters is reporting 83. Yeah. Yeah. Certainly exceeded our expectations of a major hurricane, Grande told CNN. The storm uprooted trees and tore shingles from roofs, but other than that, Grande said there is no major damage. Its residents say Babcock Ranch is proof that eco-conscious and solar-powered town can withstand the wrath of a near Category 5 storm. We have proof of the case now because the hurricane came right over us, Nancy told CNN. We have water, electricity, internet, and we may be the only people in Southwest Florida who are that fortunate. Grande said the Hurricane Ian came through Southwest Florida like a freight train, but he wasn't afraid that he would lose everything in the storm like he was when he lived in Fort Myers. We're very, very blessed and fortunate to not be experiencing what they're experiencing now in Sanibel Island and Fort Myers Beach. The times that we're living in right now with climate change, the beach is not the place to live or have a business. Damn, dude. Damn, dude. That's really fucking sad, man. It was also reported that the leaders in Lee County delayed their evacuation orders, and let me guess, they're conservative. I work in car insurance. We're taking calls from victims. Per one customer, they told me 5 in his motorhome community died, and he was close to having his neck up to water trying to save his dog. Conrad Wilson, thanks for resubscribing, bud. Death toll from Ian past 80 as embattled residents in Florida and Carolinas face a recovery expected to cost tens of billions of dollars. We can't afford to build any kind of defenses against climate change. We'll just rebuild with the same shit after. Sid Kitson, a former professional football player for the Green Bay Packers and Dallas Cowboys, is the mastermind behind Babcock Ranch. Kitson envisioned it to be an eco-conscious and innovative neighborhood that is safe and resilient from storms like Ian. It's a great case study to show that it can be done right if you build to the right place and do it the right way. Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine we would actually do something the right way? Not a shot. Not a shot.
Are you watching the stream unsubbed? You're making income inequality worse. You are doing anti-praxis. We are the only Twitch stream that will not accept scam advertisers, and I will never fuck you over by selling you crap